Most hunting shows have lost touch with the average hunter. The hunts are taking place on expensive leases or outfitted hunts that average hunters can't afford. The hunters you see on this show represent the average guy. Hunts take place on public land, the family farm, or a place we knocked on the door and asked for permission. We will take you along for the scouting, planning, and then the hunt.
Hi, and welcome to Extreme Whitetail Tactics. On this week's show, we're going to talk about setting goals and obtaining those goals after you set them. A lot of guys, when they set their goals, they like to throw a number out there and they say, I only shoot 150 and up, and I only shoot 160 and up. But really, if you set a goal like that, there better be animals like that to kill, or why even bother hunting? And my goals, believe it or not, fluctuate year to year based on what I'm seeing. Most years I'd be tickled pink to shoot a 150 or 160 inch buck, but I've passed on deer like that because there's a world-class animal in the area I'm hunting. But if I didn't know that, I wouldn't be holding out. It's a good idea to set your goals based on reality, to look around at what you got. Don't set your goals at an unobtainable number that's not even possible. You're just going to lead yourself to disappointment, and you're going to have a frustrating season, and it's probably going to hurt you in the end. But if you use your tools to find out what's out there and hit the properties where you're seeing the big animals, hit the properties where you're shining them, you're glassing them, you're getting them on your cameras, and hunt where they are, animals that meet your expectations. And if there isn't anything that meets your expectations, either bring your expectations down, or you have to give up a season, or move on and find some animals that do fit what you want to hunt. I grew up in a different time than a lot of the people that are bow hunting nowadays. When I started trophy hunting, it wasn't a big thing, and more guys were meat hunting, and it was more about shooting a deer than it was about getting a trophy animal. And because of that, there wasn't very many trophy animals around. And in order to get a big buck, you had to seek them out, you had to go find them. And if you sat on one property and that's all you hunted, good luck. I mean, there might be one buck in the area, there might not be. So you had to go out and find those bucks. And I think that opened up a lot of doors for me, and it pointed me in the right direction, because now, there's decent bucks on most properties, but it gave me that mindset to look around and to keep my eyes open. And if a guy nowadays has a 40-acre property or a 60-acre property, or maybe even a 100-acre property or bigger, and he just sits there I think he's doing himself an injustice. It's a good thing to look around. I mean, there might not be as many bucks on a piece of public, but that doesn't mean that there's not a better one there. If you keep your eyes open, you look around, I think you'd be surprised at what's out there. But if you keep hunting the same property, number one, you're putting too much pressure on that property. Number two, you're burning it out. The deer are getting used to your patterns. And you're probably going in the same way, same route, you know, splitting up to the stands in the same spots. And those deer got your pattern. So moving around ain't a bad thing. Trying some different things. On today's show, we're gonna follow Tyler, Big Hunt on the Hunting Beast, on one of his hunts. And before we get into that hunt, I want to tell you how he got to the point of that hunt. Tyler has a property that he hunts with a cabin on it in western Wisconsin, in hill country. But he also puts out trail cameras, he also goes shining, he also goes glassing, and he looks at a lot of public property. And the reason I bring this up is because he's finding the best bucks in his area, locating them, getting some sort of pattern to where they live, where they're hanging, and what size ranges are out there before he sets his goals. So the tactics that Tyler's using when he goes out looking for these bucks are very similar to how I've gotten on a lot of my big bucks. And that's to do summer shining, you know, starting in early July through hunting season, shining fields and stuff. I know that's not legal everywhere, but here in Wisconsin and most places it is. But some states it's not. So then you have to adapt. But he also goes glassing in the evenings. He's glassing fields, he's glassing bean fields, he's glassing, you know, properties that butt up against the properties he can hunt, because maybe the public property he hunts is a swamp, but the private field next to it, the bucks from the swamp come out and feed. So now he knows if there's something living in that swamp that's worth going after. And then he's putting out trail cameras in feeding areas, edges of fields, fields he can't get to, oak flats. And then there's you know, observation stands, watching those remote fields that you can't see from the road. And that's key, because a lot of those big bucks do not like entering an open field near a road. If they can see traffic and stuff, they don't get to be 5 years old by hanging out by roads. So glass in fields from a safe position where they can't wind you or anything, watching, looking. So if you do what Tyler's doing, or what I do, and you watch these bucks from July through the opening of the season, you're going to have a real good grasp on what size caliber bucks you have and what properties they're located on. And don't get yourself locked into, you only go on your own property. You got this little property you got permission on and you stay there and you hunt there all the time. Move around, shift around, look at the local public. You might be surprised, because there's a lot of big bucks hanging on public land.
Well, I'm up here in hill country and I'm turkey hunting. I stumbled across this little pack of does here. Here's a bed right here. I'm standing right in it. And then there's a bed right there. There's also a bed right there. 3 of them. The wind is coming this way. And we got thermals coming up, giving them that advantage. Yeah, it's a good example of a doe bedding area. Here we got some hair in the bed, right there. Looking good. And I scouted this spot out in the spring when I was spring turkey hunting. Kicked up a bunch of does off the tip of this point, and I saw that it was a good, pinch point because I knew there was buck bedding close by and doe bedding. And it was on the northwest wind. Today we got a northwest wind. I got in here real quiet, set up, and about 1:55 I hear a grunt. So I stand up and I'm looking hard and nothing. Hear another grunt. All of a sudden I look and I see like 7 does running in front of me. So I turn the camera on and I seen 2 bucks. He was doing a lot of tending grunts, and so I grabbed my grunt call and I started grunting at him. He didn't like that. He came walking right in. Brett. Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. November 1st, baby. Just smoked a freaking giant. A giant. Oh my God. I shot him about 20 yards, long shot. Took off like a bat out of hell, and I heard him crash, and he's right up here, baby. Yes! I don't know what he is yet, but he's a nice one. November 1st. Unreal. Oh my God. I think I have this buck on my trail camera. Alright. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for right here. I got a little bit of history with this buck. I've been getting him on trail camera all summer long. I got him on trail camera last year also. I got a little bit of shining footage of this buck. I think he's a looks like a 3-year-old.
maybe a 4-year-old. Last year he was possibly a good 2-year-old, but I know it's the same buck because he's got this same split. And I had no idea he had this going on. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pointer. Came in grunting. Alright, right there, that's what it's all about. All that hard work all summer long, running trail cameras, scouting in the spring. I found this spot in the spring, and then putting it all together. I had to wait for the right wind. I came in here, and this is what happens.
I was fortunate enough to take 2 bucks in the season of 2013. This one I got during the 2013 gun deer season on November 24th. It was the second day into the season. It was brutally cold. It was about 10 below out with the windshield. Our plan was to hunt till noon, me and my girlfriend, and then meet up at the cabin, which we did. As we were eating lunch, we heard a few shots ring off in the distance, and I knew it was the neighbors doing drives, because they do drives every year. Before I could even finish my sandwich, I told Jody to get down the ridge, and I set her up on the 1/3 elevation, because I knew when they were going back, those drivers, that they were going to hit the cornfield up on top there and most likely kick something out. So I quickly ran her down there, set her up. I got in my truck, flew back up on top here, went over to another spot on the leeward side of the ridge, and where I expect deer movement naturally because of the thermal tunnel. And even though they're pressured, they're still going to travel that for maximum protection. I got to my spot. I got a text message from my girlfriend. I looked at my phone, and it said, "Just seen a big one heading your way." I no more looked up, and I seen him running the ridge right at me. I threw my phone down in the snow and shouldered my rifle. As soon as I got him in my crosshairs, I let him have it. What I thought was a good shot at first really wasn't. I hit him in the guts, and then he rolled down into the valley, and I could see him laying down on a logging trail down there, and I could see his big rack swishing back and forth through the branches. I was literally down to 2 more rounds. I put my crosshairs on his chest and just let it go, and I saw his head fall, so I figured I got him. I didn't know exactly how big he was until I got down there. Turned out I never seen this buck before. I've never got him on trail camera. I've never seen him shining. I've never seen him glassing. 300 yards away, right over here, on the property right next to me where the deer came from, they have all kinds of trail cam pics of him. I've never seen him ever. I had him aged. It was a 7.5-year-old whitetail, and I put a tape on him for kicks, and he scored 153 gross. Definitely not my biggest whitetail with the gun, but it definitely is the oldest, and it has the most mass. 2013 was one of the best seasons I've ever had. Killing the 13 pointer and this big 10 pointer. I don't know if I'll ever top the season off again.
It's been fun watching Tyler grow as a hunter. Since I first met him, he's really transformed and grown as a hunter. If you sit back and you watch Tyler, he doesn't get so big-headed that he can't learn from those around him who are doing a little better than he is, or who have techniques that he can use and tweak to his style. I would predict that he's going to become quite the killer over the years. I'm Dan Infalt, and this is Dixie Coon. And Miss Dixie would like to thank you for joining us on the show today, and as always, if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, come to thehuntandbeast.com and let us know your thoughts. Thank you. Call me a woodchuck. Bye-bye, woodchuck.